Bore da, gyfeillion. Mae'n hyfryd I weld gymaint ohonoch chi wedi dod yn gynnar yn y bore. A'r bore ysblenydd yma yn Llandudno. A petawn ni yn rhyw fath o arholwr allanol, mi fydden ni'n rhoi serennog I bob un ohonoch chi yn ddod i'r gynhadledd mor blygeiniol. Yn wedig i'r rhai o'ch chi fi oedd yn y cynio'r gynhadledd neithiwr hefyd, da iawn. Wel, mae'n bleser cael bod yma fel Llyfarydd Plaid Cymru ar addysg unwaith eto. Yng nghanol cyfnod tyngedfennol i'r sector o'n hysgolion, un colegau, un prifysgolion ni, mae llafur yn parhau I fethu'r genhedlaeth nesaf a'r rhai sydd yn ei haddysgu nhw. Ym 1966, dywedodd un o brif lenorion Cymru ac un o hoelion wyth y blaid am yn prifysgolion I sydd DJ Williams. Fe ddwedodd hyn, ni piau Prifysgol Cymru. Ein tade ni a freuddwydiodd amdani yn rhodd i'w gwerin. Ei cyniogau hwy a'i cododd hi. Nid oes hawl gan y bobl yna na ddeallasant erioed eu hystyr i'n cenedl i'w bylchu a'i chwalu yn ôl ei mympwy hwy ei hunain, nac I ymyrryd ag un o'r sefydliadau hynny sy'n dwyn ei henw hi. Na'r phwysed neb ohonom na dydd na nos hyd nes y bod tynged ein cenedl ni yn nwylo senedd a llywodraeth o'r eiddom ni ein hunain, yn ddiogel a chadarn ar ddeiar Cymru ei hun. Ie, DJ Williams, felly siwd felly bron I 60 yn ddiweddarach, a thros chwarter canrif ers I ni sefydlu llywodraeth genedlaethol a senedd, yn ein dwylo ni ein hunain, I ni wedi cyrraedd sefyllfa lle mae'n llywodraeth yn gadael i'n sefydliadau addysg uwch wywo ar y pren. Yn hytrach na dangos arweiniad a sefyll cornel y sector o amgylch bwrdd y cabinet, mae'r gweinidog addysg uwch a phellach wedi penderfynu anwybyddu ei chyfrifoldeb am y sector a chwifio'r faner wen yn wyneb cannoedd o ddiswyddiadau a chyrsiau yn cael eu torri. Conference following countless warnings to the Welsh Government from Plaid Cymru and the higher education sector more broadly regarding the financial sustainability of our universities, the dominoes have sadly begun to fall. Prifysgol Drindod Dewi Sant, Trinity College, Carmarthen, threatening to close the oldest campus in Wales. Prifysgol Aberystwyth effectively using a credit card to cover their financial problems. University of South Wales, 90 jobs at risk as well as several course closures. Prifysgol Bangor, 200 jobs at risk. Cardiff University, 400 jobs at risk and courses of vital national significance facing the chopping block. It beggars belief that the Welsh Government have let the situation get to this stage. Last year, around 2,500 jobs were lost as the flames went out for the very last time at Tata in Port Talbot. Now, with 1,000 jobs already cut from the higher education sector in recent years, with more potentially on the way, we could end up seeing a similar number of jobs at risk at our universities. It didn't have to end that, but and it certainly doesn't have to end this way now with our universities. For Plaid Cymru, waving the white flag is simply not an option. The Welsh Government could and should do far more. But we also recognise that with a sector as crucial as this, which is facing such a complex set of challenges, we don't have the monopoly of ideas of what could be done to save our universities. That is why last month I wrote to the Minister calling for a cross-party, independent, wholesale review of our higher education sector. Now, such a review would be a collective effort on the part of all those who care about staff, learners and our educational institutions. Reporting back in the spring of 2026, it would equip the next Welsh Government with a plan for positive change based on evidence and consensus. My hope was that the Welsh Government would have responded positively to this proposal, but so far they have refused. Nevertheless, we are currently, as a party, working on our own proposals to support the sector from day one of a Plaid Cymru government. We could, for example, consider changes to the way student support is allocated to recapture around £34 million from maintenance grants that currently go to the 40%, yes, 40% of Welsh students who study outside of Wales. We could redirect that money to invest more adequately in our universities without having a detrimental impact on those from the most disadvantaged households. We could also repurpose the Seren scheme, which at present is actively encouraging some of the best and brightest of our students to attend universities outside of Wales at the expense of our own higher education institutions at a cost of millions of pounds. Of course, this is not about stopping anyone from going to study over the border, but it's about reprioritising how we spend money on higher education and better supporting our universities here in Wales. Plaid Cymru won't give up on working to find the solutions needed to fix Labour's higher education failure. We must increase our participation rate in HE, and everyone, schools, colleges and universities, must play a part. We are the party of Wales, and education is in our DNA as a country. Even Owain Glyndŵr 600 years ago recognised the value that universities could play in building a more prosperous and resilient Wales. Which is why universities are crucial to developing a skilled public sector workforce, in commissioning innovative research tailored to the needs of Wales, and creating tomorrow's entrepreneurs and business leaders. A future Plaid Cymru-led government would seek dialogue with our tertiary education sector to ensure it plays a leading role in achieving these goals. We cannot and will not let the promise and the legacy of our forefathers, whose pennies together laid the foundations to establish our universities in Aberystwyth, Bangor, Cardiff and Swansea. The quarrymen, the colliers, the farm labourers, to be taken away from generations to come. Of course, the foundations of a strong, thriving higher education sector lie in the quality of education provided in our schools. But Labour are also failing here as well. Estyn recently published its latest annual report, and in reading it, it's clear for all to see the impact of 26 years of Labour neglect, mismanagement and ineptitude when it comes to our education system. As the Estyn report states, in too many cases, the quality of teaching and assessment is not high enough. Another quote, there are notable gaps in how our providers plan for the development of learners' literacy, numeracy and digital skills. Recruiting suitably qualified teachers remains a risk for the education system. Estyn's conclusions are also borne out in Wales's international PISA results. We have, incredibly, the worst PISA results in our history, worse than any other UK nation. Results in science, down. Results in maths, down. And results in reading, also down. What Wales needs is a refreshed reading plan and a new numeracy strategy to get to grips with the basics in our schools, once again. That is what Plaid Cymru must and will deliver. Gobeithio'n i ni hefyd ar hyn o bryd yn gweithio'n galed iawn i sicrhau bil addysg y Gymraeg ac addysg sydd gyda'r potensial i draws newid rydyn ni'n addysgu'r Gymraeg yn yn ysgolion ni, fel pwnc a fel cyfrwng. Mai bil y Llywodraeth yw hwn erbyn hyn sydd yn mynd drwy'r Senedd ar hyn o bryd, i ni yn parhau i'w gwthio nhw mor gadarn a mor bell a phosibl, mwyn sicrhau bod disgyblion y dyfodol yn dod yn siaradwyr Cymraeg hyderus, ac ymhlith y rhai a fydd yn cyfrannu at y nod o greu miliwn o siaradwyr Cymraeg erbyn 2050. How can we expect our students to achieve the highest standards if they aren't being educated in the best learning environments? Just like the NHS estate, our school building estate in Wales is facing an enormous maintenance backlog. At least £500 million. That is the bill faced by our schools and local authorities after 26 years of Welsh Labour negligence. The total urgent maintenance backlog is at least £93 million. At least 355 schools require urgent maintenance. 24% of all schools in Wales. We need a full and detailed national survey of school buildings to get a clear picture of the state of the school estate in Wales and a plan in place to fix it. But it's just not about the physical state only of the 4 classroom walls through that impact our schools. It's everything else as well. Issues with behaviour and absenteeism continue to hold our schools back. A recent survey of school teachers in Wales found that over 75% of them had received verbal abuse from a pupil, whilst a quarter had been pushed or shoved by a pupil. Additionally, the latest statistics show that the average attendance rate in 2023-24 was 90.5%, almost 4 points down on the situation 5 years ago. For those in free school meals, the rate was 84.8%, a fall of over 6 points in 5 years. At the current rate of improvement, it will take a decade to recover to pre-pandemic levels of attendance in our schools. This is completely unacceptable. With their futures at stake, the next generation, especially the most disadvantaged, simply cannot wait that long for the Welsh Government to resolve this. The burden of resolving these kinds of issues has too often, in too many cases, fallen on the teaching workforce. In our schools, and Plaid Cymru will recognise that this cannot continue. Teachers are teachers, and it's time they be given the opportunity to be able to focus on that once more. Whether it's tackling disruptive behaviour, high levels of absenteeism, improving ALN and mental health provision, providing wraparound support will enable teachers to reach their full potential, no matter what the challenges they face. That is why we want to build on the Welsh Government's current community school model, which, whilst has good intentions, doesn't go far enough. In creating a community school plus model, if you will, we hope to be able to bring support staff and services and relevant organisations together to improve support and outcomes for our young people on the school campus as far as that is possible. We will also ensure that all learners have the right learning pathway available to them, so that no matter the journey, the destination of reaching their potential is the same. Plaid Cymru's guiding principles in government when it comes to education are clear. If it does not improve outcomes for our young people, we won't do it. Labour in Wales have failed when it comes to education for far too long. Where Labour have failed, Plaid Cymru will put things right. Where Labour have built walls around sectors, Plaid Cymru will bring those sectors together. Where Labour have levelled down on literacy, Plaid Cymru will level up. Where Labour have let our school buildings crumble, Plaid Cymru will build them up again. Where Labour have let staff go without replacement, Plaid Cymru will recruit and retain an education workforce fit for the future. Where Labour have let pupils and parents down, Plaid Cymru will help unlock their potential. It's time to give our schools a fresh start with a Plaid Cymru government. Dim ond Plaid Cymru gyfeillion bydd yn buddsoddi'n ddigonol mewn addysg mwyn sicrhau gwell dyfodol i'n plant a'n pobl ifanc. Dyna pam mae rhaid i ni'n ymdrechu yn ddiflino dros y flwyddyn nesaf i sicrhau mae Plaid Cymru fydd y blaid fwyaf yn y Senedd ym Mai 2026. Ac mae ni, fel plaid, bydd yn llywodraethu lles Cymru. Diolch o galon i chi.